welcome back to another episode of Irons Overland. Today we'll be talking about our best ways of sleep. So, Jake, what experience have you been had for sleeping out in the wild?
Well, honestly, I have done pretty much any kind of way you can think about sleeping out in the woods, in the wild, away from home. So I kind of made a little list of ways that are out there, and I'm sure I'm missing some, and some may not count to you. So I have ground tent, cot tent, truck bed tent, a truck bed cap, a rooftop tent, cowboy camping under the stars, hammock, a camper trailer, like an actual, you know, motorhome trailer, whatever, an RV itself, cabins, and hotels. And now the last one I would say kind of doesn't count as cabins or hotels, but probably more so hotels than cabins because hotels are typically in the middle of a city. Cabins are still out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm counting that one. There's a little asterisk next to hotels though, but I've I have done every one of those on that list except for a truck bed tent, which is like your specialty or was your specialty.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I wanted to start off with the vehicular camping and being off the ground. So, I mean,
Yeah, it was
not
just
much different.
your intro, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you done everyone on that list?
Uh, everything but camp underneath the stars, cowboy style, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And hammock. I mean, I have a hammock, but I never spent the night in it.
I have like 3 of them and I don't even know where I got them, to be honest with you. I just have 3 like pretty decent hammocks and 2 of them have rain flies. They zip up the mosquito net around you and I've never even set one up. So I'm kind of intrigued by that, but I really don't want to either because I feel like I'd fall out of it or I would just get myself so caught or wake up in a panic or something and forget I'm in the hammock at first.
That or become a bear burrito.
Bear burrito, yeah. Yeah, the only one, like I said, is that I haven't done is the truck bed tent, and I do have a truck bed tent. I've never used that either. I set it up once in the bed of my truck, and then I end up getting that cap, the topper for it, so I just put it up in storage. So I would
Now, in my experience, I mean, maybe it's just how I had it set up though, but how I had it set up for my truck bed tent, that was probably the most comfortable sleeping arrangement I've ever had. So I had a truck bed tent, by Right Line, I believe. You just it sets up like a tent, but it attaches inside the back of your truck. I made this little platform, I guess you could say, that fits in between the wheel wells. Drawer for all the equipment, little spot for the my actually cooler at the time, and the Blackstone. So, I mean, little fold up door, cooler fit in there, Blackstone fit underneath. All set to go. Get to the camp spot. Pull out the cooler, flop the little door down, set up the Blackstone. And the best part about this was on top of it, on top of this little drawer system I actually had like a full size futon mattress. And I mean, it was comfortable. I mean, had the full sheets, down comforter, pillows. Like it was actual, like your regular size bed inside the back of my truck. And I mean, that was probably the most comfortable sleep I've ever gotten for camping.
I like that makes me very intrigued to want to try it, but I think the biggest downfall with those is just the setup's not too bad. It's just that was the only time I've ever set it up, so it was kind of intimidating to me. I've set up ground tents like a ton of times, and that was pretty similar to setting one up, but it's just a little bit different. And I'm sure that if I set it up again, it would have been easier because I had already done it once, but obviously now it's just kind of a thought passing. I don't really think about it anymore. It's just sitting up in my attic. So
I
out
mean,
of Go ahead.
you got the hard shell cab, so I mean that's better. I mean, you could always make a drawer system and buy a little futon mattress to put inside there and call it good.
We're actually this Sunday. I'm taking everything out of it again, and I may actually take my topper off and remove the bed liner to get a little extra room in there. I mean, it's only going to give me probably another inch or so, but remove that out and then put the topper back on. And me and my dad are going to build a whole setup in the back so that he can sleep in it too with me, obviously, when we go into the Ozarks this month.
Yeah, I don't like those plastic liners because they do take up a little bit extra space. You don't get the full of the bed. I mean, it protects it, but then again, it doesn't because if stuff gets underneath there, it just eats away at your bed. In
Right.
my own opinion.
Yeah, and I'm hoping there's nothing in the bed. I've never seen the truck without that protection in there, the plastic liner. Underneath the bed looks fine. I don't see any rust holes or anything, but I can tell you right at the lip of the tailgate, you can see like some small spots that are starting. So I figured it's probably better to remove it now than wait, because it'll hold water for sure.
Oh yeah.
But now that we're going on a tangent again, what
Squirrel.
what is your favorite way that you've ever slept? I guess. What's your best experience just overall camping, not necessarily just overlanding, but what's your favorite way you've ever slept?
I'd probably be on that little platform with the futon mattress.
Man, it does sound pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, and it looks like you've always got good setups, and I don't understand it. Like you go above and beyond each one of your setups. I just threw all my stuff in there. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. If you would have a
Hmm.
cap or a topper on your truck, yours would have been 1,000 times better than mine was the first time you put it in.
Oh yeah, probably had a running sink with water and little movie theater and LED lights all over the place, all set up. I don't know,
So
I just enjoy building rigs, so
yeah, I do too. I'm even worse than you. I have squirrel moments like crazy. I get halfway through, and then I don't know. I lose interest, and I come back to it like a couple weeks later and forget what I was doing, and then I have to start all over. What what's your least favorite way you've ever slept?
ground tent.
Just any particular ground tent, or just like basically any ground tent you've ever been in? You're like, nope, don't want anything to do with that.
I mean, I've had air mattresses and pads and stuff before, but it just air mattresses, no matter how good of one you buy, it leaks. And out of all my experience, like even buying those little foam like workout mattresses. I mean, I'll lay those down first and then throw the air mattress on top. I'm like, oh, I hope I don't get a pop a hole in it or something like that. And somehow the thing still freaking deflates. And you're waking up halfway through the middle of the night like you're in a water bed, halfway deflated. Wake up, back hurts in the morning and everything else like that. It
I'm like
just
I'm 100% in on constant air mattress hate. We're bringing it back from last episode, and I just want to keep riding that train. I hate air mattresses.
yeah, same. I just spend the money and get like a memory foam mattress or something like that and call it good.
And that's a hard thing because if you're just a regular um, a camper, I guess, just a regular person going to a campsite, or if you're somebody who's trying to start to get into overlanding, like they do seem so tempting. You've got this looks really comfy, and everybody knows about air mattresses. Nobody really thinks of any other options. So you can buy the ones that fit into the truck bed or the ones that fit into your vehicle. You just get the ones for the tent themselves, and that's every store you go into is going to have hundreds of air mattresses to choose from. And let me tell you, all of them are just as horrible. You can get, like I was talking about in the last episode, they have those luxury ones, I guess you want to call them. They're like 10 inches tall, and they've got an extra layer on top that's supposed to add cushion, but those ones lose air just as fast, and they've got the internal pump. And I've had two of those, and both of them were ruined after probably two or three uses, that they just deflated. And I don't, I feel like that's just such a beginner, not a mistake, because there's not really anybody to tell you don't use an air mattress except for me, because I hate them, and you, because you hate them. But I just feel like too many people use them, so everybody, that's just what your go-to is.
So now getting into the overland scene and everything, they do have like these self-inflating mattresses. Now I've never had one of those. Like the deep sleeps or the I forgot the other name of them. There's a couple of them out there, but they're like I mean, they're upwards a couple $100, but they're like you roll them out and they self-inflate, and they're supposed to have memory foam and a little bit of air in them too. I haven't slept on one of those before though.
So now I have never had a very high end one, but I've had two that were about $80, and then I've had the foam roll up mat, and the foam roll up mat and those self-inflating air ones are relatively the same width or thickness once the air one's inflated. And all you do is you unroll them and you turn the valve at the end, and it's supposed to just the ambient air somehow goes in there. It's the negative force. It's finding its way in there, and it inflates a little bit. It gives you a tiny cushion. I mean, it's better than just sleeping straight on the ground, but it's not $80 worth better sleeping on the ground. I would have rather saved my $80 and just slept on my sleeping bag. And that's honestly what I do now if we take like backpacking trips, or if we take the kayak canoe trips where I have to pack light. I just use my sleeping bag and sleep on the ground. Don't even I just find a spot that's not rocky and move stuff out of the way when I put my tent or sleeping bag down. I don't even bring those. They're a waste of space to me. The foam ones are a lot cheaper, and I feel like those are slightly better. But again, it's not. You're still going to feel the ground. It's not going to be extremely comfortable. But I mean, you're out in the woods, you're out in the wilderness, so you're not ever going to be as comfy as your bed. Although, I guess I'm going to backtrack there, because rooftop tents, truck cabs, RVs, things like that, I guess you can actually be pretty comfortable. But those small ones are not. They look really cool. It's another like kind of tempting one to try, but I don't think they're worth it. And again, I haven't had a very expensive one, so I can't speak for like the $200 ones. Those may be a little bit better, but the everyday normal man ones are, they're okay. You might like it, but I'm not. They're not worth it to me.
Yeah, I'd seen a couple people like take out the mattresses in the rooftop tents and put those things in there. So yeah, I mean, if you've had experience with them,
Which is crazy, because the most rooftop tents come with a 3 or 4 inch like memory foam pad, which is pretty comfy. You know,
oh, that Smitty built one, or yeah, Smitty built,
the one I had,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that looked kind of thin though.
it was thin after the 5 6 years of use for sure, but it was relatively comfy. But after you slept on it a couple nights, you did start getting your legs, hips, back started hurting a little bit. But it could have been better, but it was better for sure, better than most other things I've slept on. I'm sure yours is. I haven't been in yours itself. I've been in Ziggy's, which is the same one. I just jumped up in his, and his was pretty darn comfy. And you seemed like you slept pretty great the last trip we took. So
Yeah, I mean, they come stock with like a 3-inch memory foam mattress. So I mean, after a while, like laying on my side, my hip feels it, but if I'm on my back, I'm perfectly okay in the thing.
so for me personally, I feel like best, my favorite way of sleeping that I've ever done at this point is probably my truck topper. And now, right now, in its form, it's very comfy, and I have a 4-inch thick memory foam pad that I got from Amazon that I was actually surprised how comfy it was, because it's just the bed frame itself, that twin bed frame that I have in there, a metal one that folds up and fits in that truck perfectly, and then I put it's like a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood. It's not thick at all. It's just enough to lay over the top to stop any of those gaps from the mattress pad fitting through those, because it doesn't need. It's one of those ones that doesn't need a box spring. So the mattress pad itself would be fine on there, but when you lay on it, you can feel all the metal posts that go through. So that plywood keeps you from doing that, and that was super great. I was really comfy in there. The only other time I've probably had better sleep, and I think it's just the experience, was cowboy camping. And pretty much anytime I take a kayak or canoe trip, like one of those long trips where we're packing light, if it's not raining, I always try and sleep outside at least one night of the trip, because it's a really cool experience. And now you've got to be able to handle bugs, or creepy crawlies coming on you at night, because there's going to be stuff that gets on you most of the time. But it's just it's more of the experience rather than comfort, because you are on the ground on just your sleeping bag or a small foam mattress pad, nothing crazy. but it's cool. Something to be said about, oh, I fell asleep under the stars tonight. I had no shelter around me. So that's always cool to do.
I can't do mosquitoes. They just like me for some reason. Could be in the middle of nowhere and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not getting bit." I'm over there swatting at every single one because they're by me.
I'll tell you what you have to do is, okay, this is going to be like a weird, creepy thing to say. Find somebody with the opposite or different blood type than you. So like Kristen has O negative, and she's like a blood bag to them.
Yeah, that's me. I'm O negative.
Oh, perfect. So that's why I like going on trips with you. I'm good. That's what they're attracted to for whatever reason. So I could walk out in the middle of a mosquito, a huge cloud of mosquitoes and walk through and end up with, 10 bites. If Kristen walked through, it would be her whole body would be covered in mosquito bites. So she's my distraction. She's better than any kind of mosquito spray or those thermocells. They all just go to her no matter what. They just leave me alone.
Hey, speaking of those thermocells, though, I brought that out our last trip, and that thing works amazing every single time.
Dude, I love those things. And I've got a small one, and then I've got one that looks like a lantern and it has a light in it, and they both work great. I swear by those things. I've heard some people have issues with them or that they don't work, but every time I've been around them, they work fantastic.
Well, did they change the filters?
Probably not. Oh, wait, you mean that I have to change stuff out?
Yeah, right. It's like it's not all the time.
Yes. If I had to choose a least favorite camping, it would definitely be literally anything to do with an air mattress. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
how or where I'm sleeping. If there's an air mattress, I just don't want to be involved in it.
yeah, I'm good with air mattresses. Done them. Won't go back to them at all. I mean, I did a couple tours out west for some wildland fires out there, and some guys were bringing air mattresses and everything. I just went to the camp and they allow you to rent some pads, grab two of the like little yoga pads that you can sleep on, put those, and I found like a nice hole in the ground. And it was actually kind of comfy, a little cradle and everything. I just and everyone who had an air mattress woke up and the thing was halfway deflated and everything else like that. They're like, "This thing's brand new." I'm like, "Well, that just goes to show you, no matter where you at, the things still suck."
I think we just need to make a whole entire episode. Just all we say is stop buying air mattresses. We should put the whole air mattress industry out of business.
I doubt that'll happen, but hey.
For anybody listening, if there's anything you learn from us or take from at least this episode, do not buy air mattresses. Just don't do it.
And if you've had good luck with them and multiple years of using them multiple times, let us know the name brand if it still works.
I'm gonna instantly assume that you're lying if you tell me that, though. I will need proof.
Oh,
What is Well, I guess we kind of talked about it, but let's explain a little bit farther. What current setup are you using right now? Obviously, you're using that roof nest, but go into detail about it. Kind of explain it to me.
so I have the Roof Nest Condor XL. Pretty much when it's a hard shell rooftop tent. When it's completely folded out, it's about the size of a king mattress, which is awesome for me because I'm about 6'3". So I need every bit of leg room that I can get. It's got about a 3-inch memory foam mattress built into it. Folds up on itself. It's got a nice protective covering over it. You can unzip it to wash it if you have to. I did buy actually a queen uh fitted mattress sheet to put over the top of that to protect it a little bit more. Um, and also I don't really use sleeping bags. I mean, normally during the wintertime, I'll use a sleeping bag, but most of the time I just bring my blankets and a down comforter that stay inside there and make it kind of up like my bed at home, and it's pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm a side sleeper, so a little bit more padding wouldn't be bad, but for the most part, I know at least when I'm camping, I don't know what the difference is, but I'll sleep on my back and it's just I'm pretty comfortable in the thing.
Is there anything that you'd want to change about it at all, or are you pretty much very content with what you got?
So, I think if I can find so I've been looking at the roof nest Condor Overland. It's got a hard shell. I mean, it's a little bit smaller, but I don't know if it's the same length. I'd probably switch to that one because I mean, this thing is kind of big. it, I mean, I got 6.5 foot bed, and I mean, all but like 3 inches cover that. So if I ever like downsize to a smaller truck for like more trail running style, I mean, the thing would be like over gapping the sides.
Cough, cough. 2023 Colorado. Cough, cough.
Yeah, I wish. I saw that thing come out. I'm like, I pull the trigger on that in a year. I don't know what the availability is on that or thicker price, but I'm like, I love the front end. I love the inside redesign of it and everything. I'm just like, yeah, it's got my attention. Plus, the tailgates has a cooler or storage unit inside of it. About time they use that extra space.
The thing is pretty neat, man. It really does. It does make me think about getting a Colorado eventually. But I think for now I'm stuck on this Tundra since I've only had it for 6 months. I'm not gonna buy anything new yet, and I'm not gonna let you convince me.
I've been doing a pretty good job, so convincing you to get stuff. So I'll just tell you to go get a little newer. Actually, do a 2024 Tacoma when they come out. They should get a redesign by then.
I think what you should do is just save your truck for a couple of years, and then by then maybe I'll be done with the Tundra, and then we just both buy new trucks at the same time.
That'd be pretty neat, but I think I'm gonna keep this truck.
See, well then there you go. Then you don't got to worry about the new Colorados. You just keep your king-sized roof nest.
Well, I need a new truck though. I mean, I'll still keep
No.
the full size. It's just I'll have best of both worlds.
So, would you recommend your roof nest then?
I definitely would. Um, Now I haven't been in many other rooftop tents to feel their mattresses and stuff, but out of spending most of the time out west in it, camping in it for night after night, never felt exhausted, even though it was like go in, camp, drive, get to a spot, fall asleep, get up, drive again. I never really felt exhausted. I always felt like I had a good night's sleep out of the thing.
So now here's here's a good one. If you were only allotted one item ever, you had one item that was absolutely necessary for you, what would it be on a camp trip?
Like a tent or a griddle or
I mean, like, what's the most important thing for you? Like, you're packing up for your trip, I guess, and oh man, I can't forget this item. What's it going to be?
my pillow.
Man, I put the exact same thing. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Gotta have a nice pillow.
I don't care where I'm going. I always bring my pillow with. Always.
Yeah, same with hotels too.
Yeah, I do the
I'll,
same
I'll,
thing. Me and Kristen
I'll
both
bring
have
my
our own
pillow.
pillows we bring them with. We don't want to use those, and ours are just more comfy to us. So everywhere we go.
So about my setup, what are you looking to do with your setup for improve your sleeping?
Man, I do really like. I like the whole idea of the topper, 100%. I don't think I'm going to go away from that ever. I think the worst thing about my particular topper is the fact that I have those two huge windows on the sides, and only the very end pops out to give some kind of airflow. So that's the only thing I dislike about it right now, and I'm trying to figure out, which I know there's probably a way, but I've been
Put a
trying to do
hole in
some
the top of
research.
the roof.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to find a way to replace those side glass to either a full slide or one that kind of pops out like wings, just to get some more cross flow air through there. But man, the actual setup for sleeping, I really can't comment on because I don't know. I don't even know where it's going to be in a week from now. Because I've got that mattress set up, which I like. It's nice. It's very basic. It's just that mattress frame, like I said, and then I've got probably about 2 feet on the side of the bed so that I can, swing my legs over and be sitting up on bed, and I can change, get in there, and I have space for more storage on the side instead of just under the bed. But when on Sunday, me and my dad are gonna actually build a full setup back there. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where I go because I don't even right now I don't know exactly what I want to build. I just know that I need to be able to have a I'd like to build it so that there's a slide out or a flip up on that side so that I can sleep. The whole entire truck bed will be a mattress, but I want it so that it can be stowed away so that if it's just me, I don't have to pull the whole thing out and I still have that side storage instead of just having the whole, truck bed being a bed itself. But I have no idea. I mean, other than that, other than not knowing what my setup's going to be, it's great.
They just need a zero breeze to cool it down.
I'm not even thinking about AC. I'm not thinking about AC at all because I'm not spending that money and I'm just going to keep telling myself I'm not going to go camping in summer.
As we go at the end of August
That's okay.
in
We
the
we,
Ozarks.
we survived in July, in the beginning of July when it was 90 out. It's okay. It's going to be about the same when we go. Probably be a little bit colder. So we're going to do great.
Yeah, I'm excited for that trip.
I think it'll be really good. I think I'm excited just to try all the other stuff that I've bought now since our last trip and actually get a use out of the things that I've just wasted money on.
Your bougie setup that I convinced you to get.
Bouge RV, my Jackery with my solar panel, and now I've got that awning on the back of the truck.
Yeah, you got something I don't have now.
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm winning. What about your dream way to sleep? What would you say your dream setup would be?
Hmm. I don't know. Those Alu cabs are like in bed campers seem pretty nice. Where you got like a full in live-in system pretty much, and you get like a full size sleeping arrangement, just like a bed or like in a camper, I guess you could say.
Are you talking about like the a slide-in camper type of thing?
Yeah, and then you like pop up the top to make it bigger or whatever.
I think that would be so cool to have. It's just got so much space, and it'd be really nice. I kind
Or
of
like,
like the go fast campers too. I feel like that would be awesome to have.
oh yeah, it's similar setup like that because the Alu cabs are kind of like that too.
Yeah, I think that would probably be mine is a go fast camper or God, I cannot remember the name brand, but it's called like the Habitat, and that's the one that flips up and forward and actually goes over the front of your truck, and the poles sit down on the ground in front of the front bumper, and it's like you basically can sleep on top of the cab of your truck, and then you've still got all the bed and everything too.
Yeah, more of a live-in system in case of foul weather or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
that.
really good for cold weather.
Oh yeah, and then it's just it's the only bad thing about those is they're a little bit more permanent because they're harder to take off. They're more incorporated into the truck than just like a regular topper are. But I mean, I still think that's like the end goal, the way to be, because that's the most. That's got to be super comfy to sleep in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, it seems like a lot more people that do this full time are switching to those.
Would you ever consider a van?
Depends on the capability. I mean, they do have 4x4 vans out there and everything, but I still like to do just that little bit of rock climbing for a little bit of technical, and there's not a van out there really that I that I've seen that's able to do that type of stuff yet. And if it is, it's a little too top heavy, and I'd be too worried about it tipping over.
I feel
But
like with something like that, or even those sliding campers in the trucks, you've really got to start limiting what kind of trails you're taking because you're
y-
a lot more top heavy and just heavy in general.
yeah, but seeing some of those vans though, it's like where they got like the full tile showers and everything. Like, oh, I could live out of that thing.
Man, I've been watching so many van life people, the school buses that are getting converted, ambulances that are getting converted, and I'm like, gosh, that would be so nice to have. But you really can't. When you start getting to that size, you really can't do anything crazy. It's just, oh, I'm going to take this gravel road out here and that's it. And even you've got to watch for tree limbs and things like that we're not really, looking for or paying attention to as much right now.
Yeah, it's just funny, like remembering back, like in middle school days and stuff like, "Oh, you gotta go to school, otherwise you're gonna be a bum living in a van down by the beach." Man, if you wanna do that now, you have to at least raise $50,000 to pay for the thing and start going to build it.
Now it's a status symbol.
Right? Like, "Oh, god, that'd be awesome to do. Yeah, I wanna do that. I wanna live in a van on the beach all the time and have a care in the world, have a nice luxury inside, and get a great view every morning, open up the door and have that nice ocean breeze fall right in." Oh,
I really am tempted half the time just to sell my house and buy an RV and just buy some land and live in the RV and then take that on our trip. You just take the whole house on a vacation. Still work here and everything. Don't worry about that, but just save a ton of money by just paying for the RV instead, and then your whole house is mobile.
I bet that RV costs more than your house.
I think that I probably would have almost a mortgage on an RV if I sold my house. And I imagine that because you're probably not paying as much for utilities. Well, I don't know. You may be. I've never lived long term in one, so I don't know how much the electricity would be because you're obviously still going to have your home base. So you'd have like a pad or something. I'd still have a septic tank, and then you'd want to have water and sewer and well, not sewer, water and electric hookup so that when you're parked, you don't have to worry about it. I wonder how much it would cost. That'd be interesting to find out.
I bet it wouldn't be too expensive. I mean, my place, I'm only paying by myself. I'm only paying about $100 a month for electricity, so it'd probably be a little less or right about the same for that, just to have a 220 outlet ran into in a post.
I guess you're right because you're not like my house is not, an RV is probably half the size of my house, square footage wise, living space. So you're not really worried about that. And you're not running it off of your diesel or gas all the time because you're going to be parked. But you have that option if you need to. But diesel's obviously super expensive right now. But it'd be interesting to see the actual cost change. I mean, obviously people are doing it with their vans, but they're not staying in one spot and they're trying to live off grid. But I think it'd be, like I said, it crosses my mind probably at least once a day to be like, man, let's just sell this house and buy an RV, like a nice RV, and just live, and buy 5 or 10 acres and just live there.
Oh yeah, definitely. At least for how we are, we're more of an outdoor people, so we don't need to be inside 24/7 and have those luxuries.
Exactly. I actually had this conversation with my parents the other day. They told me they're going to sell their house and come put a fifth wheel on my property because I've got the big, amperage hookup on my garage. I was like, sure, do it. I'll charge you rent. It won't even be much. It'll be less than your mortgage and your utilities. Come stay with me.
Just cover the electric bill and plumbing, you'd be set.
Hey, mom and dad, I want to go on a camping trip. Y'all come live in the house for a little bit. I'm taking the trailer.
Mhm. There you go. I mean, my parents are looking to retire, and my dad's like, "Oh, let's get a travel trailer and just go from site to site every 2 weeks or whatever in Florida or the Gulf Coast, and then have a place up in Door County."
Yeah, I definitely think that I think that's an awesome retirement plan for sure. But you definitely, in my opinion, need at least a small piece of property where you can park at for some point of the time where that's your normal residence, that's where you're registered, and you have a home base. So hey, I'm all the way in California, but gosh, I'm tired of being on vacation. I want to go back to where I'm from, and just drive back to Wisconsin and be like, hey, I'm gonna stay here for a couple months until I get the itch again to leave.
Yeah, buy like 5 acres and build a barn dough and park the RV inside of it when you're not traveling.
Oh, that's
Done.
awesome. That's a really good idea, actually. Gosh darn it, Kristen, where you at? We're doing this.
Uh, and this went into sleeping arrangements, and now we're talking about RVs and retirement plans.
Hey, RVs are sleeping arrangements.
It's a hotel on wheels.
I'm telling you, I told you there's an asterisk right there. I think the hotels kind of count, because you're not in your primary residence. You're somewhere else, and it's lavish, yeah, but you're getting out there.
I mean, it's not bad when you're on a multi-day trip where it's like, all right, you've been in your tent or your travel sleeping arrangements for 4 or 5 days. It's nice to actually hit a hotel, shower up, and get that nice comfy bed though. So I would agree with you. It's in there. I mean, I wouldn't put it as a best sleeping because I mean, obviously, it's going to be one of the better sleeping
That's just cheating
things,
if it's the best.
right?
You know what I really want to do is just take a couple week road trip. Like we are talking about going to Utah next year for 2 weeks, and just kind of plan where you want to go. And then we're tired of driving, and we just do that like horror movie thing. Like, hey, there's a motel up here. Let's just pull over and get a room. I don't know why that's a goal I want to do. Just pull over to some random motel and just, yeah, hey, I want a room for the night.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going to the next town.
Don't want to end up in a horror movie.
Uh, no, the horror character is going to be the one in the horror movie if he comes after me. Oh, that's a cute chainsaw. Here's a 45.
There'll be another one hiding around the corner, or it'll be, the gun won't do anything to him. It's too late. You're stuck in the horror movie now.
Yeah, right. I just laugh at those things about Chucky, like watching Chucky films. They're running away from the doll. I'm like, kick the thing. Anyways,
Now we're way off track.
uh, uh, speaking of that, it's like watching those like Black Rifle Coffee commercials. It's like, oh, me and my friend, they're all army veterans and stuff. Like, oh, me and my friend's gonna do a horror movie thing. They're cleaning all their weapons, and here comes in Jason, just slowly backing out. Like, yeah, that'd be me.
Well, I think that's about it for this episode. Off on our random tangents there. Um, so I think that everybody should go out and experience multiple different ways of sleeping, including hotels, as we've
And get
discussed.
rid of those air mattresses.
And get rid of those darn air mattresses. Don't even think about it when you're walking in Walmart or any of those stores that have them. You know what I want you to do? I want you to just take your arm and go down that whole aisle and just knock them all onto the ground. Get rid of those things. Throw them out.
Ah.
God, I hate those things so much.
Yeah, the bad experiences.
All right. Well, we will see you next Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. Find all our social media pages. They're all under Irons Overland. We've got Instagram, YouTube, TikTok now. We're getting TikTok famous.
That's all you.
Instagram famous, YouTube famous. We're going for it all.
We're trying out there. Like and subscribe. As always, leave us a comment if you have something that you want to hear our view on or our tangents of just going off on far left. But thanks for listening and catch you next time.